How you doing? Good. I'm a Christian abolitionist calling for the abolition, not the right to life incrementalism, absolute abolition of abortion. Because, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's weather for you Friday, right?
Yeah, you know what? I've been out here in the cold and the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your name?
Mike, yeah, we've met
Mike.
a few times.
Yeah, we have. I remember. I don't remember your name though, Michael. Nice. What's your press here?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about my photography.
Oh, cool. Okay.
We'll be around.
All right.
You thinking of staying through the night?
How long? Are they gonna be here a long time?
Yeah, they're probably going to be here, honestly, until midnight is when the deadline.
Wow.
Right up to the,
Yeah.
right up to the final bell. So.
Yeah. I may go home and come back. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hey, are they trying to pass the SJ4? Do you know?
No, I don't think that's going to get through.
Okay. Well, shouldn't it? I mean, not one person spoke in favor of it.
No, it's like questions like that, right? It's sort of, I think there's not a desire, a political desire to put that question on the ballot box.
Yeah.
Because
That's a severe one. I mean, it really.
You know, I don't think they want to deal with, frankly, energizing the pro-life movement.
Well, I'm not pro-life, of course.
I know,
Yep,
you're an abolitionist.
But you get it. You get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. You would.
Yeah.
Maybe they'd wake them up, and they need to be woken up. But
So that's kind of, I think, the thinking on that is that
yeah.
contentious ballot.
Yeah. How you doing, sir? I'm a Christian abolitionist calling for the end of abortion, not pro-life incrementalism, like they had incrementalism in slavery. We still have slavery today. And people who vote for pro-choice are the same people that would have voted for the continuation of slavery, wondering where you stand, whether these are human beings or not. Or if you have the argument, like the pro-slave people, that black people were not human beings, and do you think that these little babies are not human beings? That's the question I have for you. How you doing, sir? I'm a Christian abolitionist. Your security?
Yes, sir.
All right. Protect the people.
I try to do my best, sir.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys protecting my rights. I mean, over at the Supreme Court, they don't even know the law. They tried to kick me off. I was like, you guys can't kick me off. Sad.
Here to help.
Yeah, thank you. What's your name, sir?
My name is Dan.
Dan, I'm Norman.
Norman, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too,
Enjoy the
sir.
weather before the sun and it goes away.
I hear you. I will.
Take care. It's nice meeting you, sir.
Nice meeting you too. Hey, how you doing?
Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Calling out for the lives of little babies.
What happened?
Calling out for the lives of little babies in the womb.
Man, God bless you.
Can't wait until they finally empower the police to protect those little innocent babies.
All right, man.
Someday. God bless you too. Hey, how you doing? Do you stand up for the lives of innocent babies, sir? Hey, amen. I'm an abolitionist, which means we call for the end of abortion, not incrementalism like the pro-life. Do you stand up for the lives of little innocent babies? Or you think you don't know? Or do you think they should be murdered? What about you, sir?
What's up?
Do you stand for the lives of the little innocent babies?
Man, I don't like the idea of abortion, but I also like to choose. But
Wait, no. Equal rights for all humans.
that's right.
Right? Wait, and if they're humans, then the woman has a right over her body, but not the body inside of her body.
I agree.
So that's murder. So you are not for women's right to choose or kill her own baby? No. How you doing?
Hi.
Do you stand up for the lives of little innocent babies in the womb?
I do.
You do?
No, wait, sorry. What
You
is it?
think they should be killed? No, this is equal rights for all humans.
Oh, got it. No, I'm pro-choice, sorry.
So you're pro-choice to murder the babies?
I don't get it.
I want to change your mind. Let's see if you could hold your position. That it's okay to kill human beings under certain circumstances. Yeah, you can't maintain it because you know it's wrong. It's a body in the body. So I'm standing for the lives of innocent babies in the womb. I believe it's a body in a body, and it should be protected by law. You do. God bless you, sir.
I do.
Yeah, it should be abolished.
I got 2.
Hey, amen, I got 5.
Oh, good for you.
And one little 1-year-old boy right now.
Good bless, man.
Thank you, sir. So I'm here at the entrance to speak to different people, hopefully the representatives when they come and go. And I'm just going to stand for life and stand for the life of these little babies. One guy, some representative who called himself Belub, he went by here before. So I have a suspicion he's going to come back this way. So, you know, I'm going to ambush him with truth. Usually I stand way back there, but I'm not going to stand back there today. I'm going to stand right in their face. I wanted to have the signs from Abolition Rising of the pictures of little babies that have been aborted, but I did not receive those yet, so can't do that just yet. But hopefully pretty soon we will do that. Let people see what their hands, bloodied hands, hath wrought as far as the death and slaughter of innocent babies. How are you doing, sir? Oh yeah, we talked just a second ago. Good. Sir, do you stand for the rights of little innocent babies, or do you think they should be murdered? What's that? You do. Abolition of abortion, what do you think? I mean, not pro-life incrementalism. We're talking the total, complete abolition of abortion. No, it's not. You're an intelligent man. It's not a matter of pay, it's a matter of conscience. It's a matter of conscience that little babies in the womb are actually human beings and they deserve to be protected under law. What's that? Your choice to slaughter human. You know, the slave owner said same thing. My slave, my choice. Is that your mantra, my slave, my choice? Or the Nazi says, my Jews, my choice. Because it's a very bad argument. Sir, do you stand for the protection of innocent babies? Equal rights for all humans. Oh, come on. Are you representative? No? Are you intelligent, man? Come have a discussion. While babies are being slaughtered, you don't care? You don't care? Men are cowards who will not stand up for innocent babies. Men are cowards who will not stand up for the lives of innocent babies.
Meeting roll call 497. We'll go to House Bill 5474. As amended by House Amendment A, B, and C. Vote on the bill. House Bill 5474 as amended by House Amendments A, B, and C.
Above his pay grade. Above his moral sense. That's what it is. Lord, help me to be firm, help me to be respectful, help me to be kind, but help me to speak the truth in love and not equivocate. Not equivocate. Speak the truth in love. So I'll stand here for a couple hours. That's what I meant to say. Good afternoon, officer. How you doing? Good. How you doing, sir? I'm standing here for the lives of innocent babies in the womb and calling for abolition.
I'm all for abortion.
You are?
If I could do it myself, I would. But
No, sir. Honestly, sir, what kind of monster? You know, in Nazi Germany, you'd be like one of those SS officers. If I could kill the Jews myself, I would do it. I'm based on what philosophy? What's that?
in Nazi Germany, I'd be in the camps.
No, you wouldn't. No, you'd be passing the laws.
Last name Zimmerman.
Hey, but do you believe with the Nazi philosophy that the Jews are not human beings? Do you believe that? Adolf Hitler did not believe Jews are human beings based on evolutionary atheism. Doesn't matter. But you believe the same philosophy as Adolf Hitler. Come defend it. Don't be an intellectual coward. Don't be an intellectual coward. You would perform an abortion? You would murder a baby yourself? What kind of monster are you? That's what the SS officers would say. They didn't believe that Jews are human beings. They didn't believe slaves are human beings. And you don't believe babies are human beings. So you have the same philosophy as those people. Yeah, smoke your cigarette because you're nervous about it. You believe then that they're not human beings. It's the same humanistic evolutionary argument as Adolf Hitler. Let's see if you can defend your position intellectually. Come on. Come on. No, you are for the murder of innocent little babies. What kind of man are you? The SS officers were for the murder of Jews because they didn't believe they were human beings. The slave owners were okay, and even the legislature passed laws to allow there to be slavery because they didn't believe they were human beings. And you all believe that babies are not human beings, so you pass laws to allow there to be the legal slaughter of them. It's the same philosophy, sir. It's the same philosophy. Problem is, you guys don't get challenged. Your minds are getting turned into mush. There are how many millions of babies here in the womb in Connecticut, and you won't represent them. It's time to represent those little innocent babies. You're nervous. Scurry away. Scurry away. It's time to stand up for these babies. You guys have no comment, I'm sure. Right? You have no comment. You don't care whether they're killed or not. No comment. No backbone is what it is. Somebody's got to speak up for these babies. Somebody had to speak up for the slaves, sir. Somebody had to speak up for the slaves because the majority in the state of Connecticut did not believe that slaves were actually human beings. They believed that they were less than human beings because they did not stand upon the Word of God. And in Nazi Germany, they did not believe, Mr. Zimmerman, if that's your name, that they did not believe that Jews are human beings. And that's why Adolf Hitler, he believed he was helping along evolution. He believed that he was helping along the human race for the good of humanity by exterminating people based upon a humanistic, evolutionary, relativistic philosophy. And your philosophy is of the same ilk as the slave owners. It's the same ilk as the Nazis. It's the same ilk because you think you know that those babies in the womb are not human beings. And so you said, and I have it on tape, by the way, sir, you believe that those little babies are not human beings. And because you don't believe that they're human beings, you won't stand up for them. In fact, you said that you would perform an abortion, a murder of an innocent baby with your own hands. Those are your words. You see, they did not believe slaves were human beings, ma'am. And now we don't believe that babies in the womb are human beings. It's the same philosophy. You've been taken in and duped by the same philosophy that the slave owners were duped by, that the Nazis were duped by, that the communists in Red China were duped by, because they did not have an ultimate standard by which to determine what actually makes a human being a human being. You see, cowards, intellectual cowards, cannot hold their own, and so they go and they hide in the shadows and smoke their cigarettes because they're afraid. And they'll make fun of me behind my back, but they won't do it to my face. Even if you do it to my face, it doesn't matter. Because I have the moral high ground. The moral high ground is what the Bible says. All human beings are created in the image of God. And a lot of these representatives, they're cowards. They got no intellectual backbones. And they're afraid to get challenged. Challenged by the Word of God that says, "Thou shalt not murder." That includes all human beings created in the image of God. Whether it's a zygote, whether it's a Jew, whether it's a black person, whether it's an Asian person, all human beings, according to the Bible, are created in the image of God. And because all human beings are created in the image of God, that means we do not have the right to take their lives. We do not have a right to pass laws. Relativistic, humanistic laws that people pass does not trump God's law that says all human beings are created in the image of God. And instead of passing laws that allow the slaughter of innocent human beings, this House should be passing laws to protect the most innocent human being in the state of Connecticut, which are unborn babies. Little unborn babies. And you might say, well, they're just a clump of cells. Well, you're a clump of cells. What makes your clump of cells better than their clump of cells? You might say, they're not really human. Well, let me know. Well, how do you define a human being? By what standard do you define what a human being is or is not? Is it popular vote? Well, popular vote at one time believed that slaves were not human beings. Popular vote and the legislature passed laws to enslave human beings because they went by a relativistic definition of humanity. This House here did, the Senate. And now we have laws, same philosophy, that say little innocent babies in the womb are not human beings. And so we slaughter them. We take their lives, we snuff them out. That's a cowardly, wicked, sinful stance to have. And so somebody's got to stand up for these innocent little babies. How about you, sir? Do you stand up for little innocent babies?
I have no idea, man.
You have no idea? No, if some lady was clubbing a little infant, would you stop her from clubbing it? Or would you walk by looking at your phone? You probably walk by looking at your phone because you have no compassion in your heart. What cowards, intellectual cowards we have here. Nobody can stop and have a discussion. I welcome it. And they hide in the corner, smoking their cigarettes, making fun of me, but they can't have an intellectual argument. How about you, sir? You know, Bob Dylan said, how many times can a man turn his head and pretend he just doesn't see? Are you one of those people that turn your head and pretend you don't see? That these little babies are human beings? What do you think, sir? Do you stand up for the innocent babies? Thank you, sir. Do you stand up for them? Or do you think that the woman should kill the body in her body? Come on, you got to think about it. If you're a representative, you got to think about these things. Well, it doesn't matter. Then you vote. Doesn't matter. It doesn't get you off the hook. Doesn't get you off the hook. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, let's put these down. Haven't met one person yet, representative or anybody that's here, press, lobbyists, that can actually give an intellectual argument of why they believe or do not believe. How about you, sir? Are you representative? Do you vote for the slaughter of innocent human beings?
I'm not a rep.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Do you believe that babies should be killed? Or you're gonna run away? Come on. Wonder what happened to Belub. There's a representative the other day, I think it was last week, made fun of me preaching in the lobby, and then when I asked his name, he said, my name is Beelzebub. I mean, what kind of representative would make fun? What representative would make fun of a citizen of the state of Connecticut, what representative, that man does not deserve to be in office, to make fun of a citizen who pays his salary making fun rather than having any kind of intellectual argument. He just made some sort of snide remark and ran off into the shadows. Still waiting for you to come on over and talk about how you could justify abortion and be against the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. Very curious about that, because these are innocent human beings and they deserve equal justice and equal rights. Amazing how afraid people are of arguments. The pen indeed is mightier than the sword. But one of the things that would be great if people actually learned to think. But you know what? People don't care. People don't care. But that's okay. My job is to be a voice. Proverbs chapter 31 verse 8 says that we are supposed to be a voice for those who have no voice. And all those babies in the womb have no voice. Nobody speaks for them, but I'm speaking for them, and they want to be protected. The body in the body wants to be protected. Woman right over her own body, but not the body in her body. Have you ever thought about it? What's that? Look at this sign here. Equal rights for all human beings. Equal rights for all human beings. Equal rights for all human beings. How hard of a concept can that possibly be? It's a very simple concept. It's a very simple concept, sir. Equal rights for all human beings. Right? They didn't believe that black people in the slavery days are humans, and now we don't believe babies in the womb are humans. Based on what? All human beings are created in the image of God. And when you've passed votes to legalize the slaughter of innocent human beings, then their blood is on your hands even more than anyone else. I mean, we all have the blood of those babies on our hands. We all do. We are all guilty in the state of Connecticut. We all have that blood. We all have the blood. Just like in Nazi Germany, the whole German nation had the blood of the Jews on their hands. And the blood guilt of that in World War II was a testimony how wicked it was. And even the citizens of Connecticut at one time had laws that protected people to own slaves. This state capitol, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the Supreme Court, the governor, and so on, passed laws, and the Supreme Court upheld laws that allowed there to be the enslavement of other human beings. So how could that be? That they allowed slavery here in Connecticut. You know how, sir? Because they did not go according to the law of God in the Bible. Because the Bible says all human beings are created in the image of God. And as soon as you start making it relativistic, you have the same philosophy as Adolf Hitler. You have the same philosophy as the slave owners back in slavery days. You don't see the connection, but you do. But you do. Because humanism and relativism is what causes many people to be slaughtered. What do you think, sir? What's that? We don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Do you think? No, you don't. How about you, sir? Do you stand up for the lives of innocent babies?
What's that?
Do you stand up for the lives of innocent babies in the womb? You do. I'm an abolitionist, and I'd like to encourage you to be an abolitionist too. Pro-life says incrementalism, regulation. Abolition says no, it must be ended. Just like Harriet Beecher Stowe. Harriet Beecher Stowe, you can look at a picture if you go on that concourse there. Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. And what she did is she exposed the horrors of slavery. And it wasn't until the horrors of slavery were exposed to a country that was indifferent. I mean, slavery was legal here in the state of Connecticut. Did you know that? Yeah. So, but see, they didn't believe that black people were human beings. And so they passed laws and say, who cares? But at the same philosophy, we don't believe that little babies are human beings. And that's why there's a connection of the chain to this little baby's umbilical cord, because the people in this building, the governor and the Supreme Court over there, have a relativistic view of what humanity is. And so then they pass laws to allow there to be the slaughter of human beings. You see, life does actually begin at conception. It does. Science bears that out. Science shows you that at the moment of conception, there's a human life. And when you end human life, regardless of the level of development, you are murdering and taking the life of that human being. But you see, back in the slavery days, they would say, oh, the black people, they're not actually human beings. So who cares if we enslave them? In the legislature in the Nazi Germany, they said, oh, Jews are not human beings, so let's kill them. And here in Connecticut, we say little babies in the womb are not human beings, so let's kill them. It's the same humanistic philosophy. It is the same humanism. Do you understand that? Humanism defines truth by what the wind says, what the wind says. That's why Bob Dylan wrote, "Blowing in the Wind." And then he said, how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? And here in Connecticut, I can tell you how many times a man can turn his head and pretend that we just don't see that those little babies, innocent babies in the womb, are human beings. I watch Bob Dylan's song happen every moment of every day as human beings, as legislator, governor, Supreme Court, pastors. I mean, I could chastise y'all, but I tell you, the sin really ultimately lies with the Church of Jesus Christ here in the state of Connecticut, because pastors are not doing their job. They're worried about their happy, clappy churches, and they don't speak up for the unborn. They don't speak up for those little babies. Oh, they might have a little sanctity of life prayer Sunday. They might have a little thing. God bless you, sir. Thank you for listening. They might have something that's kind of cute on sanctity of life. Mother's Day, a lot of churches, they'll be talking about mothers, but they're not going to talk about the mothers who have willfully, with malice aforethought, that's a legal term, malice aforethought, that means that you have thought about it with malice to take the life of another human being. And so that's what the pill is. A woman, nobody, unless in some circumstances they force it, but for the most part, they say, I go in front of Planned Parenthood, which are in black communities, sir. Do you know that Margaret Sanger was a racist? Do you know Margaret Sanger was a racist? Look it up on Google. And she specifically put Planned Parenthood in predominantly black neighborhoods. So if you go over in the north end of Hartford, you'll find the Planned Parenthood. You go over to Elmwood in West Hartford, you'll find Planned Parenthood. Why is that? That's because Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood are racist, and the majority of the abortions they perform are actually with black people. And so the abortion rate amongst black people, by design with Planned Parenthood, by design, yeah, but you won't listen. You won't listen. You just dismiss it without hearing the argument, ma'am, because you're brainwashed. You've allowed yourself to be brainwashed over and over. So I'm calling for the life of innocent babies, little innocent babies, the body inside the body. Woman has a right over her own body, but she does not have a right over the body that's inside of her body. That body inside of her body is a different human being. That body inside of a woman's body has its own DNA. That body inside of her body is made in the image of God. That body inside of her body has all that is necessary to be a human being. And if you say to me, I'm for abortion because that little baby cannot survive on your own, I tell you what, you can't survive on your own. I dare you. I challenge you. Go to, call up these shows like Alone, where they send people up into the deep woods. Even the professionals cannot live on their own. The best that somebody did was like 50 days. And I'll tell you, people like us here in Connecticut, fat and lazy, used to our central air and our central heat, we wouldn't last, probably a couple of days. We'd probably get eaten by animals. So the argument that just because a baby cannot survive on its own, my little 1-year-old boy cannot survive on his own. You see the connection here? Back in slavery day, they did not believe that slaves were human beings. And so they passed laws to allow them to be enslaved. And so now we have laws in the state of Connecticut. They didn't believe that they were human beings. The legislature passed laws. The Supreme Court here in Connecticut passed laws to allow there to be slavery. So now, but because they didn't believe they were human beings, and y'all don't believe that babies are human beings, and you have the same relativistic, humanistic, I know those are big words, atheistic view that babies inside the womb are not really human beings, but they are because they're created in the image of God. They're created in the image of God. What do you think? Do you stand for innocent babies in the womb? Or do you believe that they should be slaughtered? How about you, sir? Well, there we go. Slaughter them. That's right. That's what you believe. Thank you for being honest. Instead, you are for the slaughtering of innocent babies. But you know what? Cowards run away, make some sort of ridiculous remark, and scurry into the corners. I at least have respect for people that can come and stand and have at least a respectful, honest argument. But most people, what they do, sir, is they make little snide remarks of a citizen of Connecticut. Rather than giving me the respect that I afford as a citizen, they make us, the lady over there, I don't know if she's a representative, she's all for slaughtering innocent babies. Those are her words. I got it right here on tape. She's all for slaughtering them. Those were her words. Now what kind of human being is for slaughtering another human being? I mean, really ask yourself. I get this feeling that if I were back in Nazi Germany and I were calling out for the lives of the Jews, these same people would say, I would say, you need to stand up for the lives of these Jews in concentration camps and not allow them to be slaughtered. And I can imagine them walking by and saying, slaughter them, because of their relativistic, humanistic philosophy that human beings are not created in the image of God. But they are created in the image of God, and they deserve right, and they deserve laws that protect them. Woman can do whatever she wants with her body. She can't do what she wants with the body inside of her body. You see, it's a separate human being. Yes, that baby needs to get nutrition. I got a 1-year-old boy. If I don't feed him, he's going to die. And if I don't feed him and he dies, I'll go to jail for that, as I should. But we have the right here in Connecticut for women to legally, nobody's shoving it down her throat, to take a pill that will force that baby to be ejected out of her uterus with malice aforethought. In other words, malice aforethought means that it was premeditated murder. She thought about it, she put it in her mouth. It could be reversed after the first ingestion. Just get some progesterone in there and that little baby might be saved. But then she takes another pill and sometimes even another pill. And so that's malice aforethought. So that baby, and you know what happens to that baby, sir? They flush it down the toilet for the most part. They sit on the toilet and their body ejects that little life out of her uterus, through her cervix, through her vagina, and it plops into the toilet. And then they flush this precious little human being made in the image of God into the sewer system. And I wonder how many babies, we got mass graves, you know, like the Nazis had mass graves. The Nazis had mass graves. A lot of people were buried in them and nobody really knows. But they know the location of the mass graves because they can find the bones. But we have a new mass grave here in the state of Connecticut and the nation of the United States. And that mass grave is called, get this, it's called the sewer. That's where a majority of the babies, I believe I read a statistic that it said in 1922, or it was, I think it was 2020, that 65% of all the killing of innocent babies happened by women with malice aforethought, taking a pill, swallowing it with the intention of killing that innocent human being that is in her womb. And they don't know what to do with the little body, the little sack of cells that contains that little innocent human beings, and so they flush it down the toilet. So that our very sewage system here in the state of Connecticut is filled with little babies, the bodies of little babies, the bodies that were inside of the woman's body that she forced out prematurely with poison. It gets flushed down into the sewage system. And so our new mass grave here in the state of Connecticut are all these water filtration systems. They are all these, I can't think of the name of it, where they send all the sewage water. That's where all those little innocent babies go. When they take a pill with malice aforethought and ejects out of their bodies, we have mass graves in the sewage system here in Connecticut. How about you, gentlemen? Do you stand up for little babies, or are you for it? Another representative, you're for abortion? No. You're not? Oh, good. I'll be an abolitionist then. End abortion. End abortion completely. Don't buy into the right to life incremental regulation. It must be abolished. 100% abolished. Just like slavery needed to be abolished. No question. Sir, do you stand up for the lives of innocent babies? I would like you to take a look at this sign if you wouldn't mind. Respectfully speaking. Sir, how many times can a man turn his head? You won't even listen to it? Speaking out for little babies. As an abolitionist, speaking out for the lives of these little innocent babies. How about you, ma'am? Do you believe that an innocent baby should be protected by law? Oh, what better thing is that than saving the lives of a human being? What better thing do you have to do than to save the life of a human being? What better thing do you have to do than to save a life of a human being and talk about that? I mean, if some lady were clubbing her little 1-year-old with a baseball bat and you walk by, I got better things to do. What's that? I'm not screaming. I'm using a voice. This is not screaming. What's that? Good. Good. What's that? What's that?
Just because a woman doesn't mean what you believe is what I believe.
No, I didn't say what you believe. I'm just speaking the lives. Proverbs 31 verse 8 says to be the voice of those who have no voice. No, I have freedom of speech. I know people don't like that, but my voice is speaking for those babies that have no voice. You see, those little babies, nobody speaks up for them, so I'm speaking up for them. Imagine if all those babies could all be here and had a voice, they would be saying, don't kill us. Don't pass laws, don't support laws that allow us to be. God bless you, ma'am. I hope you stand for the life of little innocent babies. And nobody's screaming. Nobody's screaming. You got a weird definition of what screaming is. I'm not screaming at all. I'm just using a normal voice talking, calling people to justice, equal justice for all human beings. Do you believe that, sir? Equal justice for all human beings. What's that?
Absolutely.
And do you stand for unborn babies?
Yes, sir.
You do?
Yes.
I'm an abolitionist. All right. God bless you, sir. I'm an abolitionist, which means I don't agree with pro-life incrementalism. Pro-life incrementalism believes that it's okay in some circumstances. An abolitionist said, no, it's not okay. Just like Harriet Beecher Stowe said, slavery was not okay. Abolitionists of today say abortion is not okay in any circumstances whatsoever. Do you agree with that, sir? Do you agree with that, sir? Do you have an opinion on that? If somebody were killing their baby in front of you, would you stop them? What's that? I would hope that you would stop them. I want to stop it. I want to legally stop it, first of all. It's not until we pass laws that will protect these innocent human beings. It wasn't until laws were passed here in the state of Connecticut. It was not until laws were passed here in the state of Connecticut before they actually ended slavery. Did you know that? Here in the state of Connecticut, there were laws that protected the legal right of a slave owner to own another human being. And he said, my slave, my choice. That was his mantra. Back in slavery days, their mantra was, my slave, my choice. You see, because there were laws that protected slave owners that allowed them to do whatever they wanted with their slaves. And the House voted on laws that allowed there to be my slave, my choice. But now we have laws that protect my body, my choice. Laws that will not protect the lives of those innocent little babies. No laws. In fact, the laws protect the right of a woman to legally slaughter her baby inside of her womb. I mean, what kind of state allows there? What kind of legislature is this? What kind of Senate do we have? What kind of House do we have? What kind of governor do we have? I mean, recently I read that the House and the Senate passed this, COVID bill. And in this COVID bill, what was it, $3 million are going to go to Planned Parenthood? $3 million are going to go for the right of a woman to murder her own innocent little baby inside of her womb. Planned Parenthood is a bloody child sacrificial system. They carry out the dirty work. I was going to say that maybe the legislators should do it themselves, but from what I've heard of them going by, that they would do it themselves. I've had 2 representatives say that they would commit abortion themselves, that they would do the deed themselves, because they would not stand up for the lives of innocent babies. Because it's a relativistic, I know these are big words for you, sir, relativistic, humanistic philosophy that believes that human beings and the value of a human being is based upon the whim of a legislature, the whim of popular vote. But there are objective values, there are objective laws. You see, that's why the Bible is so absolutely important. The Bible is important because the Bible appeals to the reality that there is a reality beyond human beings. The law of God trumps the law of man. And men, how you doing, sir? The law of man can pass whatever laws that they want, but when men pass laws that are unjust before God, that's the point of a republic. The point of a republic is that there is a higher standard than the mere arbitrary, capricious decisions of human beings. And that's why the Bible is so important, that says all human beings are created in the image of God. Therefore, because they're created in the image of God, they deserve to be protected by law. And if you are, that my voice hurt you. If you could hear the screams, sir, of all the babies that are being murdered in Connecticut, you see, you can't hear their voice because they're snuffed out in the womb. But Proverbs chapter 31, verse 8 says, to be the voice of those who have no voice. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm the voice of those little innocent babies. I'm the voice of those little babies where they pull off their arms. They artificially open the cervix. They artificially open the cervix, and then they take a clamp and they pull the little legs off the little babies. And then they go in for the arms. They rip them off. The little baby tries to get away, but it can't because it's stuck in the uterus. And so that clamp goes up and it grabs the legs and it rips the leg off of the baby. And then the clamp goes up and rips another leg off the baby. This is in the second trimester. And then it goes up there and rips that torso off. And then it rips the arms off of that baby. And then they go up and grab the head. And they rip that. You think that's a good thing, sir? You do. What kind of monster are you? What, shame on you, sir. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. You would laugh at the murder of innocent babies? You'll stand before God someday and give an account for your callous heart. Shame on you. Shame on you, sir. Gosh, at least have some humility of the murder of babies. You like that? What kind of coward are you? Backboneless. Backboneless. You have no backbone, sir. Anybody that would call for the murder of innocent babies. What kind of monster is that? I live amongst monsters. And so when they open up the cervix in the second trimester, a clamp goes in and they rip the legs off the little baby, and it tries to get away, but it can't get away. It can't get away. And so that clamp then pulls off the other leg. And then that clamp pulls out the torso. And then that clamp pulls out the head, and they reassemble that little body. You see, sir, they pull that little baby out of the womb. See, they do this. This happens in Connecticut every day. They rip the legs off that little human being. Legally speaking, because of representatives that allow this to happen, they pull the legs and the arms, the torso off. They pull the little head off, and they reassemble it on the tray. Make sure they get all the parts. And that dead little baby sits on the tray, and they make sure that they have all the parts. That's how they know if they got it all or not. And then they vacuum out the rest of it. So, sir, you really are like okay with that, the murder of little babies? Do you have any kids? Would you be okay with somebody murdering your kids? Oh, come on. What's that? I created what? I created a monster? Well, God have mercy on your children if you would be okay with them being murdered. I can't even imagine you saying such a thing. What's that? Oh, dear. Yeah, make sure. And so they open the womb, sir, in the second trimester, and they pull the little legs off of it. They rip the legs off of it. Think about it. This happens. This is not science fiction. They rip the legs off, and then they rip the arms off, and then they pull the torso out, rip that baby limb for limb, rip the little heads out, and then they reassemble it on the tray, and you vote for it. You vote for it. You vote for it. You vote for it. How could this be? So they artificially open up the womb. In the second trimester, they artificially open it up, and a clamp goes inside, and it rips the legs off the little babies. Did you know that? And then they pull off the arms. They pop them right off. And the little baby tries to swim away, but it can't because it's in the uterus. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what's legally sanctioned, protected here in Connecticut. Have you voted for that, ma'am? Have you voted for that? What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, either way, you vote. Do you vote, sir? Do you vote for people that will vote for the slaughter of innocent human beings? What's that? Oh, don't be a coward. I mean, amazing how people scurry away. They can't even have an intellectual conversation. I'll have a conversation. I'll let you talk. Let's see if you could hold your own. You see, people don't want to argue because they know that they cannot argue their position. They know that all they got are little sound bites that they get from the press. My body, my choice. abortion is health care. Little brainwashy things that George Orwell said would happen in the futuristic society, that people would not be able to think things through. People are not able to think things through and have an argument. How about you, sir? Do you believe that little innocent baby should be protected by law, equal rights for all humans? Well, no. How could you stay? If you were in Nazi Germany and I said, are you for the slaughter of Jews? Would you say I'm staying out of it? Or if I were in slavery times and I said, are you for the enslavement of human beings? Would you just say I'm staying out of it? You see, to not make a choice, to not have an opinion is have to an opinion. And that's the truth. To stay out of it means that you're just staying by while there's the allowance of the slaughter of innocent human beings. How about you, sir? Do you understand this sign? The implications of it? Because back in the slavery days, they didn't believe that slaves are human beings, and now we don't believe babies in the womb are human beings. That's because we have arbitrary definitions of what makes a human being or not.